Hey there, my name is Cole Adams, and you are watching the best college basketball podcast out there that covers the entire sport of college basketball, brackets, bubbles, and bid stealers. Now, here are your hosts, Sam Fetterman and Jonathan Lidskin.
'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The hoops were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Basketball would soon be there. Season 6, episode 47 of Brackets, Bubbles, and Bit Stealers. I am Sam Fetterman. That is Jonathan Lidskin. Jonathan, it's Christmas Eve.
Oh boy, we finally made it. We finally made it. In approximately 13 hours, we will have a college basketball game.
Jonathan, college basketball is going to be played tomorrow. I have all of the MAC basketball is played today tweets scheduled. I am so juiced up to get those tweets out
For the entire season?
Until non-conference play ends.
Okay.
Because when I do it for conference play, I put the records in there.
Got it.
What did you think of the poem?
It's great, dude. I'm a big fan of poems on shows like this.
Yeah.
Some of my Missouri friends are actually the same way. David Campbell and I used to do poems on Marathon to March all the time. It was great.
How many more episodes of Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers have there been than Marathon to March at this point?
Well, obviously a lot, but Marathon, you got to remember, Marathon to March, David and I did every week at school from our sophomore year to last year. So we did it for 4 years. And that's not even counting
this is really the third full season of Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers, but it is season 6. We've been over that. All right. If you're looking for more of our preview content, if you're looking for us to talk about high major teams and where we stand on them and Mountain West and all that, this is not the episode for you. Go back after we're done here and listen to those episodes. You can find them on YouTube, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Twitter, wherever you get your podcasts. You can find Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers. And when you do find Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers, wherever you get your podcasts, make sure to hit follow, subscribe, turn on the notifications. So every time a new podcast gets posted, whether it's here, whether it's on Twitter, wherever it is, so you can watch live or after the fact with us. Now, thank you everyone for coming on to Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at BBBCBB Podcast. We'll have some polls throughout the course of the year. Jonathan and I have been posting our polls as well. Jonathan, you want to go over some of those polls quickly?
Yeah, let's do it.
I think that's a good start.
By the way, you're up in our league.
Okay.
I know this is a bad time, but let's do this first, and then when I'm talking, you can make your pick.
Yeah. I asked which player will have the best season: Cam Boozer, AJ DeBonsta, or Darren Peterson. The voters went Boozer 45, Peterson 43, DeBonsta 11. I like that. I like that result. I think it's really fair. I said which veteran has the best chance of winning National Player of the Year: Braden Smith 48, JT Toppin and Yaxel Lendeberg each 26.1. Again, I think that's really good. Mm-hmm. And then I said, which player will have the biggest bounce back season? Only 6 votes here. Cade Tyson got 4 of them. AJ Storr got 1. Michael Ajayi got 1. Rylan Griffin didn't get any. Yep, I think that's the right answer. And then which player returning from injury will have the best season? Tucker DeVries got 6 votes. Bryce Hopkins, Pop Isaacs, and Rink Mass each got 1. I think you could maybe go to Rink Mass here.
But yeah, I think you definitely could argue that. We were talking the other day about how many contenders there are for those Big Ten all-conference teams. Obviously we do ours just straight up 5 guys first team, 5 guys second team, 5 guys third team. But, you can get way past 25, 30 if you want to make that argument for those conference teams.
All right, Jonathan. We each went over. So I tweeted yesterday, and this is an every year thing that I do.
Yeah.
I tweet out an opportunity for everybody in the country to get out their hot takes. We have 137 replies here, Jonathan.
Oh boy.
But we are
this started very strangely as you just tweeting it without telling me, I believe, a couple of years ago, and then it turned into this thing that we do on the show.
Well, because we got Trilly Donovan to retweet it the last 2 years, so it got big.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Also,
this year he didn't, but I have the mid-major madness.
Also, I'm not sure if you want to go over it, but the first ever reply that we were going to go over on this show will live in infamy.
Yeah. Anyway, Jonathan, we each gave some hot takes. Jonathan, give yours and like a 5-second defense for it.
Ooh, let me pull this up because I don't remember what I tweeted.
I think you had St. Louis as a 5 seed as well.
Okay, here we go. St. Louis is a 5 seed. I think their upside's unbelievable with the coach and the personnel they have. If there's a really good team from the A10, I think it's them. Colorado finishes in the top half of the Big 12 and goes dancing. I think they have a lot of young pieces that they can hit on, and I think Tad Boyle gets kind of overlooked as a good college basketball coach. So Marquette wins the Big East. This is, trusting Shaka and the development. And I think that, they have a better roster than maybe they're getting credit for. And then the last one, Dan the Monkey gets all 4 Final Four teams correct. He's been good at picking upsets so far. So saying he'll get the biggest upset correct is not exactly a hot take, but him getting all his Final Four teams correct would be a shocker.
Jonathan, my 3 hot takes.
A lot of trusting Rick Barnes from him.
Okay, my 3 hot takes were Jacob Kofi is the best defensive player in the Big Ten and wins Defensive Player of the Year. Devin McLaughlin is going to be an All-American, and Josan Sanin will be out of the rotation by March. I just think Pitino is going to hate a guy that doesn't rebound, doesn't pass, doesn't score at the rim, and doesn't play defense. Just like straight up.
He only shoots.
But no, he also dribbles.
Yes.
I think Leotopoulos,
not with the real purpose, but
I think Leotopoulos is going to be in the rotation because you're not expecting much out of him, and he's just kind of going to stand there, and he's not going to demand the ball.
Yeah,
and he'll try on defense. So let's go over these hot takes, like we do every year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put these on screen. We are going to go through them. If anything stands out to you, you can point it out. From Ethan Bach, Duke wins the ACC.
I need to go full screen here. Hold on. All right, there we go.
Ethan Bach says Duke will win the ACC. He also says it would be a hot take to say that UMES is not winning the MEAC.
Yeah.
Shout out. Go Hawks.
Shout out the Shore.
We're in on the Hawks this year.
Shout out the Shore.
Yes. 3 mid-majors in the Elite Eight. I'm just going to set a rule here. If you make your hot take about something that happens after the bracket comes out, I don't care. It's invalid. Invalid to me.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think
No, I get the I just think the sanctity of the take doesn't make sense because I can't tell you what the bracket's going to look like. What happens?
Well, yeah,
what happens if what happens if the 1A10 team in the pool is in the same as one Mountain West team?
No, you're not wrong about that. And it's the reason that while we've been doing this pod, we don't pick a Final Four because one, we don't know what the bracket's going to look like, 6 months from now or whatever it is.
Oh God, the season was 6 months long.
What, 5 months from now?
I would get to fucking 300 games if it was a 6-month season.
However, the bracket's way down the line. We don't know what it's going to look like. And also, why are you picking the Final Four?
It'll come by quicker than you think.
Why are you picking the Final Four in the preseason that isn't just your top 4 teams?
Yeah. Xavier. I said that's a great take. Jaden Daly with Marquette and Villanova as tournament teams. And I said I'm in the exact opposite direction on Villanova. I think they're about as likely to finish 10th in the Big East as they are to make the NCAA tournament. Jonathan, whose side are you on here?
Well, Marquette I have as a tournament team, so I agree with that part. But Villanova is a weird team to me because I think that their best player is maybe going to be a freshman and a redshirt freshman. And that could be, good early on when teams don't really have a great scout on them. But, Devin Askew is hurt right now, and you obviously lose depth with him, even though if you don't think he's a good player. So that maybe that helps them because maybe now you get more opportunities for other guys to play that are better than him. We've seen 5 years of Devin Askew.
We know what Devin Askew is,
Like,
and it's not very good.
Yeah, so the best, one of the all-time greats at Texas.
Boston College goes dancing, and I went with Danny DeVito.
Yeah, I can't see it. It's certainly a hot take.
There's a couple Illinois State takes here. One from our guy Tommy, that they get an at-large, and one from our guy Joey that says they don't take a step forward. Whose side?
You're gonna make me do this again?
Yes, I'm gonna make you do it again.
Yeah, I'll say this in the nicest way possible to the Redbirds, who I saw play on Wednesday in person. Illinois State is the preseason favorite in the Valley because of who they return, not because of their upside. I think that it's hard to see them finishing worse than like 5th in the league at the very, very worst, which is what they were last year. But like them getting an at-large, going from what would it be, like 125th in KenPom last year?
I mean, they have a potential schedule to do it. Like they do go and play USC.
They play USC. Yeah, they do. If I had to choose between the two, I would take.
You probably have to go like 27-4.
If I had to,
they have USC and Utah State. They got to win both of those games.
If I had to take a side here, I think I go Joey's side.
Yeah, me too. Oklahoma State wins a few more games than they should. I could be in on that.
I can buy that.
Tennessee State and Hawaii go dancing. I can't see Tennessee State. First year with Nolan Smith. They hired him in like June. If I'm going to be consistent on the way I talked about Maryland Eastern Shore last year, I'm going to have to talk about Tennessee State the same way this year. I don't like that team.
Hawaii is like one of the best teams in the Big West. So like I absolutely can see that.
Notre Dame, I disagree with Notre Dame top 6.
I can see that though. Like if a couple of those ACC teams don't hit, like if Virginia's worse, Virginia Tech's worse, like I can see it.
Vandy gets a double bye. Love it. Love that.
You go.
Love that take. I mean, you know what I think about Vanderbilt. I think that they're full of dudes that can really play. It's full of versatility. They got so much shooting with Nickel. They got so much playmaking with Tanner and Collins and AK and DMAC. And I'm calling Devin McLaughlin DMAC now.
The article I wrote, the one sentence on all my top 100 teams, I didn't end up writing this for them, but I had written it out originally for Vanderbilt, is they are a team by every definition of the word.
Yes, I love it. Bonnies win A10 tournament after earning a double. Again, conference tournaments. Like I don't care about your conference tournament take.
Okay, but like if we shorten this to just like Bonnies earn a double bye in the A10.
That's fine. I could totally see it. The upside is there. If you're in on Grahovic and you're in on Lunati, this should be a double bye team. Let's be honest here. Arizona wins the Big 12.
Why'd you skip that one?
Great bit from our guy, Matt. Great bit.
That was a good one. I agree.
Arizona wins the Big 12 tournament. Bennett Sturtz will be a first-team All-American. Dartmouth wins the Ivy. On the third one, I'm going to have to go with a resounding no.
Bennett Sturtz, first-team All-American, and Iowa finished in the top 25. Absolutely can see that.
I don't think that's a hot take. Like I think that's like probably going to happen.
The second part is probably more fishy than the first.
Dylan Brett, Sam Fetterman doesn't get to 100 games. He might be onto something. It's possible.
This was my favorite one.
It's possible that it doesn't happen this year. What was the reply to this, by the way?
It was me. I said elite hating.
Elite hating. Mid-majors will win again in March Madness. Show me a bracket, then I'll tell you. Ian Curtis, our boy, 3 new NMTC teams. Love that take. Don't know who it's gonna be.
Yeah, I would love to know who
Grambling has a chance out of the SWAC.
I would love to know who he thinks of the 3.
UConn isn't a top 25 team by season's end. That is scorching. But I'll give him this. Every year, there seems to be a team that finishes outside the top 25 in KenPom, returns a lot of pieces, and gets really hyped up for the next year. It was like Creighton a couple years ago. We've seen it before. And they never finish like top 5. FAU, remember. UConn is that team this year. But they upgraded in different places. and they have the best coach in the country. So I'm going to say no to this. I get the logic.
I can't see them being worse than they were last year.
Yeah.
And they finished, 34th in
32.
KenPom last year?
32.
Okay.
I get the logic. I disagree. St. Mary's and I don't care. NIU will be a sleeper for one of the best mid-major basketball teams. No.
Yeah, I think they're awful, but
yeah, they're pretty bad.
To each their own.
Again, a 14-seater. That's not a take. Like there's no take here. Like, is this you saying we're gonna have good 14 seeds, or we're gonna have bad 3 seeds? Or
maybe the take is just like we have an elite mid-major group.
Yeah, then he could have just said that.
But also, like, those elite mid-major teams still have to make the tournament.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's not hot, but it's a little hot. Okay, more Oklahoma State. No, this one absolutely not. St. John's is definitely not the preseason #1 team. I see no logic that goes for that. I've said this to everyone that can listen. St. John's has a worse roster than last year.
Yeah.
Straight up. And everybody just decided one day that St. John's has a better roster than last year.
Right? Like, they like no one they got is better than Kadari. Nobody they got is better than RJ Lewis.
Someone randomly decided one day that
is any of the guards they got even better than Davon Smith?
I don't think so.
If those two things both happen, it would be the weirdest tournament ever.
Yeah.
Because it would defy all
we got a lot of takes about BYU, and a lot of them were on either side of the spectrum. BYU winning a national championship. BYU is going to be Rutgers. I saw a lot of those.
I don't think they're going to be Rutgers. But...
Okay, the take wasn't they're going to be Rutgers, but the take was they're going to be like between their expectations and what Rutgers was, which basically means they're going to underperform expectations.
Their offense is too good to completely fail.
I agree.
I think the question you have to ask with BYU is, do they have a national championship level defense?
Which I don't think they do. Ross Hodge takes West Virginia to the Sweet 16. Again, can't tell you anything about whether.
Hold on. Go to the one above.
Oh, I didn't see that one. I'm
very broad take, but like kind of in.
Yeah. Like I don't think Tennessee is very good.
Like by
the way, we do have to read off these takes because there will be people listening to it on the podcast. This guy said Tennessee ain't good. Like, I don't disagree that they're like not as good as they have been. They'll make the tournament.
What's not good though? Because like Rick Barnes, since the pandemic, the worst he's done is a 5 seed, and that was the weird 2021 year where games were getting canceled all the time. Like, I don't know. Like, it's like I'm low on this Tennessee team too, relative to like the standard there, but I really can't see them being worse than like a 6 or 7 seed. Nice.
Ross Hodge takes West Virginia to a Sweet 16. Again, I can't tell you anything about whether they'll go to a Sweet 16 or not, but I think they're underrated.
Sweet 16 caliber team? I could see it.
I don't think I could see them being a top 16 team in the country.
I don't know, man. I think I'm too quick to dismiss certain things every year, and this is a weird sport.
You're right. I do think we have that. Arkansas wins a natty. Again, no idea what's going to happen in the tournament.
All I can think about is he's getting the fluke Final Four run out mid-tweet.
Okay, one extra thing I will say. I think Arkansas has my Arkansas-related hot take is that Darius Acuff is better than Mikal Brown.
I think did Ryan say that the other day too?
It was Jim, I think.
Okay.
Aztecs are Final Four bound. Again, no idea if they're making the Final Four. Good basketball team.
Dude, damn right they are.
Once Magoon Guath gets back, they will be. They will have a chance to make a Final Four. I believe that. BYU wins the national championship again. They've already won 2 national championships in this comment section. That's a lot of national championships to win in a comment section. Dayton makes the Sweet 16.
Are we making do we have to call up our friend Mr. Weeps to make us a graphic? BYU comment section national champion.
Good. Get him to make one of those. Dayton makes the Sweet 16. Again, no idea if they're going to make the Sweet 16. Good basketball team. IU Indy has their first winning season since 2010-11. Love this take. Have no idea what their schedule looks like.
This is what I'm here for.
This is the exact type of take I'm in on.
The next one is the best take ever.
This is the exact take I'm in on, by the way. Like, this is what a hot take is. Like, you don't really, like, it's probably not going to happen. IU Indy is probably not going to have a winning season. They're probably a year or two away from that. But, like, they're going to take a lot of steps in the right direction, and they could win a lot of games. Rutgers doesn't get a win, Jonathan.
Not a singular one. They lose all their bye games.
Buckyball works at Texas A&M. Aggies are a top 4 team in the SEC.
Hold on. I want to throw out a hypothetical here.
Go.
If I told you right now that Rutgers wasn't winning a game this season, not a singular one, at what point in the season do you think Steve Peichel would lose his job?
Let me look at their schedule.
How long would it take to fire him?
Let me look at their schedule. Oh, God. So they lose to Rider, Maine, Lehigh, American, and Central Connecticut.
That's the start of their schedule.
Okay, but he's not getting fired after that. You're not firing coach.
No. I mean, if you go 0-6,
he would get fired. He would get fired after they lose to Delaware State on December 29th.
Are they in players era?
Yes.
So they would have that 6-game start to the season and then go to players era 0-6.
0-5.
Here's a hot take. I'll
and then listen to their first 2 Big Ten games. Purdue and Michigan.
Can I amend this?
Go.
Okay. I'm not going to go as far as Rutgers doesn't get a win. I'm not even going to go a Rutgers season take. Rutgers loses multiple bye games before they go to Vegas, and Players Era actively tries to kick them out of the tournament.
Okay.
I'm not saying they succeed, but they try.
I'll say they lose 1. I do think Rutgers loses one of those games.
All right. Buckyball works at Texas A&M. Aggies are a top 4 team in the SEC and a Final Four threat.
Can see Buckyball working. Can't see them being a top 4 team. Can't see them being a Final Four threat.
Agreed.
Iowa State hits 23 wins, attains a 3 seed, and loses in the Elite 8.
But also wins Atlantis.
That sounds like an Iowa State season.
23 sounds a little low.
23 regular season.
Oh. Then yeah, sure.
SMU makes the Final Four 25-1. Throw some pizza money on them.
They're 25-1 to make the Final Four.
That might be the worst CLV in the history of betting.
Does Andy Enfield have Evan Mobley coming back?
Maybe he's saying they'll be 25.
I don't really think that Andy Enfield has shown ability to win at a high level without a elite big man rim protecting NBA prospect. So
this guy thinks Purdue is not making the NCAA tournament. This guy is wrong.
If you honestly believe that, I think you should go find some odds out there somewhere.
I think you should go watch a different sport.
No, we can't lose viewers.
No, I think those types of viewers we can afford to lose. Those Washington makes the NCAA tournament.
Hover over Kennedy's bio. That name looks really familiar. Oh, he is a Mizzou guy. Okay. I was like, why do I know that name?
Like, hey,
Washington makes the tournament? Hell yeah.
Final season for Tom, Rick, and Bill.
That is Tom Izzo, Rick Pitino, and Bill Self.
Unless he's talking about Rick Barnes.
Maybe he is talking about Rick Barnes.
What
was the comment underneath?
Oh, it was from the guy I had to mute because he was responding to every comment. His at was something lewd. I don't remember what it was. VCU A10 champs, regular season and tourney, and they're playing.
Are we not going to address the final season for Tom?
Oh yeah, no, we got to address that.
I would bet. Let's call it Barnes because Pitino may die on the sideline. I would bet at least one of them is done.
I agree. Cam Boozer will be better than Cooper Flagg. It's possible.
Go Duke.
The Bills beat the Chiefs in the regular season, therefore ending the final non-Patriots football game that I will watch for the rest of the year.
What'd you say?
The last non-Patriots football game that I will watch for the entire year just ended with a classic. The Bills, as they always do, defeating the Chiefs in the regular season. SEC gets no more than 8 teams in the tournament.
I texted real quick before you move on. I texted Harrison, like, do you think Jim Nantz thinks he's in Groundhog Day, like watching these Bills Chiefs regular season games and then playoff games?
It's a good take. SEC gets no more than 8 teams in the tournament. That would be
pretty surprising, I think.
But like it's in the realm of possibility.
I wonder what that would entail.
They got 14 last year.
Does the ACC get better? Do we get more mid-majors in?
I think this is implying the ACC probably gets like 7. The Big Ten probably gets like 13 or 14, and then the Big East probably gets 5.
Yeah.
A lot of Arkansas national championships.
Goes on a UConn type.
Arkansas and BYU winning a lot of national championships.
Dude, I just can't help but think that Calipari stunts them a little bit.
You know, I gotta say it. Arkansas BYU national championship game seems like it's gonna happen according to these comments.
Dude, I wouldn't watch.
that would be a disaster for our great sport.
I'd quit. Morgan Cheesecake would be forming.
That would be a disaster for our great sport. Michigan wins it all. Indiana top 5 finish in the Big Ten. 3-point shooting as a team over 40%.
You skipped one. Omaha.
I was going to get there. I just wanted to do the Indiana take. I love this Indiana take. I love it. I think 40% from 3 for the year. I don't know if they'll get to that number, but they will be number 1 in the Big Ten in 3-point shooting.
I, at one point, had them in the top 5 of my Big Ten rankings. I think they finished 6th.
Omaha makes the NCAA tournament for a second straight year. How dare you disrespect our great Tommies of St. Thomas?
This is the first year they're eligible, right?
Yes. And I have them on my team.
And then the second one, more interestingly, Creighton misses the NCAA tournament.
I could totally see that, by the way.
Yeah.
Jonathan, I want you to take over and do these while I decide who I'm picking.
Okay. All right. Florida's backcourt and team as a whole is severely overrated. They'll be top 25, but never a consistently consensus top 10 team. I can see that. I think the issue with Florida is do they have a true point guard right now? Obviously, the front court's dominant, but who plays point for them? Obviously, they figured it out with Walter Clayton, but is it going to be that quick for either probably Boogie Flan? Xavier Lee's just not a point guard. Yeah, but I could see it basically just because that's what they were before last year. They were a good team, not a great one. Butler will make the Final Four. Jesus Christ. The Final Four of what? The Crown?
The Crown's only 8 teams this year. They only need to win 1 game.
Yeah. Yeah, I just can't see that. UNLV wins Mountain West Conference tournament. Tough to say whether they're going to win a conference tournament this early, but let's shorten this to UNLV. Is a good Mountain West team, and that I can totally see because, like I've said before, I don't think Josh Pastner is a terrible coach.
He has a plan. He has a plan.
I think that he runs out of he runs dry at his stops wherever he ends up, but he's had some good teams before, so I can see that. Houston, Purdue, and Florida will not be number 1 seeds.
All right, Jonathan, I'm ready to make my pick.
Okay.
Utah Valley.
I think they already got picked, didn't they?
What?
I think Austin took them way earlier.
Really?
Yeah, Austin took them in round 5, dude.
Okay, that's why I didn't notice they were gone.
All right, I'll continue. Houston, Purdue, Florida not be number 1 seeds. Florida, I'll say they won't be. Purdue, maybe. Definitely can see it. They were a 4 seed last year, and return everyone. So maybe they don't take the leap. Houston, it's so tough because they've been a 1 seed the past 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So, that like they're kind of a lock to be one of the upper tier teams in the sport. UCLA wins the Big Ten regular season.
Give me Queens.
Huh?
Give me Queens.
Okay. You discuss the UCLA one, and I'll write that down.
I could see UCLA being really good. They have like a real I think the upside here is high and the down it's not the typical Mick Cronin like high floor, low ceiling. I think this is a high ceiling, low floor type team at UCLA because there's a lot of talent in the mix that I'm not sure how it fits together, but if it does fit together, it'll be really good. NC State will make the Final Four. Again, I love NC State. I have them in this league that we're talking about. That we'll explain probably after we get Matthew Winnick on after. Jack Church just joined us. He's going to sit in the backstage for 15 minutes. Another BYU Final Four appearance in the comments. Wow. BYU looking really good.
Yeah, BYU is, for all intents and purposes, the number one team in the country heading into tomorrow, according to our comment section.
Yeah, our comment section seems to think that picking the team that's going to be talked about maybe more than anyone else in the country this year to win the national championship is a hot take.
Yeah.
A team wins a game at some point. I don't know, man. This one is way out there.
Yeah, and I mean, and around 10 Eastern tomorrow, it'll probably happen.
9.
No.
Oh, wait. Yeah, you're right. Game starts at 8. I'm done.
Dude, you are converting to Central Time. Let's go. AJ Devanza.
You know you can add yourself back. I'm pretty sure
I know I can. What's wrong with you?
Ben McCollum will lead the Hawkeyes to a top 5 finish in the Big Ten. I love it. I have them in my top 5 in the Big Ten.
Wake Forest not only makes it back to the tournament for the first time since 2017, they make a Sweet 16 run. I don't feel like this would be the team for Forbes that would get over the hump. Who's to say? Gonzaga.
Georgia.
Gonzaga makes a Final Four run.
No.
Maybe.
Probably not. I could see it.
Ooh, I like this next one.
Ahmet Jonovic in contention for MVC Player of the Year.
Good player. Can't see him having the counting stats to be a Missouri Valley Player of the Year.
I mean, this is a guy who, as a junior, averaged 5 points a game.
Yeah. I think he's a impact over stats guy.
I agree. That was the first, this text was, this tweet is the first time I've thought about him since the Missouri Valley preview.
Dayton Flyers make the second weekend of the NCAA tournament.
We have a lot of Cole Adamses in these replies as well.
Dude, I thought Dayton fans all hated themselves. Why are we getting multiple Dayton? Dayton makes the second weekend comments.
Hawkeyes get a 6-9 seed. 6 through 9.
Sure.
That is a 16 team.
Yeah, you have a 16 team spot to play with there.
We do have a lot of Iowa takes, by the way. Siena wins the MAC championship.
Good. I like this one.
I don't think these are hot takes. To say that the team that a lot of people are picking. I don't think it's a hot take to say Siena wins the MAC. It's certainly not a overwhelming popular take, but I don't think it's a hot take either. I'm going to scroll down and let me know if any of these stand out to you.
Nebraska finally wins a tournament game. Dude.
I've gotten higher and higher.
Tony needs to stop creating Twitter accounts.
I've gotten higher and higher on Nebraska over the offseason. Tony's gotten higher.
Okay, he was top 5, 1 seed. No.
Oh! A hypothetical loss for BYU.
BYU gets upset in the NCAA tournament by the first weekend.
We have a hypothetical loss for BYU.
Dude, for some reason, I read that as BYU gets upset in the NCAA tournament by the first weekend. The first weekend is the one physically upsetting them. I'm who's the first weekend?
Brody Robinson, Horizon League Player of the Year. Okay, that's a take. Had a really nice season at UTA last year, averaging 10-4. I could see him taking a leap. The problem is that he's terrible around the rim.
Texas Tech will not. Why are you looking at Mahomes?
It's in the somewhere.
Texas Tech will not get a protected seed.
Wrong.
Analytical models seem to agree.
Yeah. Another hypothetical W for Nebraska. Wow.
Seton Hall won't finish last in the Big East. Is that a hot take, Fetterman?
No, DePaul could finish last.
What about Nova?
We've got to move a lot faster here because we've got Jack Church in 9 minutes.
How many more do we have?
A lot. We haven't even gotten to the quote tweets yet.
Okay, well, keep going. I don't want to keep Jack waiting.
Legend Smiley, great take.
Did that say Georgia reaches the mountaintops in the SEC?
This isn't football, buddy.
That's what. Nor is it baseball.
When did they win the SEC in baseball?
I don't know, but they seem
to
have
win it with Charlie Condon.
Huh?
Did they win it with Charlie Condon?
I don't think so, but they have a good baseball program.
Yeah, I think Tennessee won.
I mean, that's more achievable for them in baseball than it is in basketball.
It's more achievable in basically any sport than it is in basketball.
Track. They have a track program. They have a great track program.
Sponsor swimming? Jack, nod. Yes, the SEC sponsors swimming.
Two Big West.
I like it. Gators going to repeat. Maybe.
I don't know, Jim.
Caleb Foster, 12 points per game. Jonathan.
I don't think so. I think that
we got a Caden Boozer take somewhere.
Outside of Boozer, Evans, and Ngongba, I'm not sure anyone else is averaging double figures.
We got a Caden Boozer take in here somewhere. I got to find it.
Well, don't skip all of these. UNLV makes the dance in on that. Why am I talking myself into a Josh Pastner team?
Ooh, St. Francis to the NCAA tournament. We've got.
Aren't they leaving Division I?
Yeah, but they got 12 seniors.
Okay.
St. Mary's to the Sweet 16. Johnny's missed the tournament. I can't tell you how much I want to agree with that take. I genuinely can't tell. There's no way to express how much I want to agree with that take without sounding like I actually do agree with it, because I don't.
Nor do I. But it would be very funny.
There's the Caden Boozer take. Caden Boozer ends up a top 3 point guard in the country.
Yeah, we're winning the title if that happens. So I hope so.
Darian DeVries gets arrested for tax evasion.
Okay, go on.
Kentucky will win it all. Seton Hall makes the tourney. Longwood makes
hold on. Seton Hall makes the tourney.
We've got some crazy people out there.
Okay. Longwood exceeds expectations, stuns everyone, and makes the top 25 as a ranked team for the first time in D1 history. Well, you know who would have loved that last year? The person on this pod who had them in their top 100.
Didn't I have them in the top 100?
You might have. You might have.
I was really in on KJ McClurg. He had a decent season.
All right. This is the last year we'll see a decent NCAA tournament because greed is going to ruin everything. Why do good teams playing late into the tournament make everything worse? It's never something I've agreed with, and it's never something I will ever.
Well, we need to have the mid-majors need to be in the tournament.
They can't be all get you guys out of here in round one.
Yeah. Who's next?
Purdue won't finish top 3 in the Big Ten and won't finish the season in the top 25. I'd be pretty surprised.
Remember the name Ben Howlett and the IU Indy Jaguars.
Oh, somebody on this pod may or may not have written an article about them.
Another ball knower. 2 bid Big West, 3 bid WCC, and 1 2 big league that's always 1 bid.
Dude, is that tweet written by the guy that did the Lindy Sports Preview freshman list?
San Diego to the NCAA tournament based off of that. Creighton Blue Jays are in the top 8 by the end of the year.
Don't agree, but who knows?
Will they guard?
Mm-hmm. Probably not.
Malik Ewan will be the best big man in the SEC.
Auburn won't make the tournament. Don't really see it, but maybe.
Here's another hypothetical loss for BYU.
Oh, great. We're comparing them to Rutgers now.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
BYU
earlier.
has a season in between Rutgers last year and what they're expected to do. I mean, that's probably that's probably a decent season, right?
That's like the gap is like way bigger than you can than like what I'm.
Yeah, so maybe like would
that could literally be like they're a 7 seed.
Would that be a bubble team? Like I don't know how to measure that.
I think he's giving himself a lot of margin for error. Buffalo. Okay. Mountain West gets 12 teams into the NCAA tournament. Jonathan, the Mountain West a couple years ago was the only conference in college basketball to have every team with the winning record in non-conference play, and they got 4 teams in. I genuinely do not believe that it's possible for the Mountain West to get like more than 8 teams.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Also, like they have 12, right? Because Grand Canyon.
Yes.
Okay, because I was gonna say my first thought was, does the Mountain West have 12 teams?
We have way too many. There have been way too many like Syracuse is really good takes coming in recently.
Dude, that was like me last year.
Yeah, like I feel I like if you want to be in on Syracuse, fine, but like know what you're getting yourself into.
Oh, you best believe I know.
ESPN signs Isaac Bourne to a 6-year, $7 million contract.
In on that.
I don't know who this guy is, but he tweets about Isaac like 12 times a day.
Husband, dad,
and his profile picture is AI. But he tweets about
Isaac. He's a Murray State alum. I bet he'll like me.
He tweets about Isaac like 12 times a day. And I'm in on that. It's electric. It's electric stuff.
Dude, I'm texting Isaac and asking.
All right, let's go to the quote tweets.
Isaac.
Because we have 2 minutes to go through the quote tweets before it's Jack Church time. Great into the final. Here we go. Here's a good one, Jonathan.
A severe acute respiratory syndrome originating in Southeast Asia spread the United States during the peak of winter and brings the NCAA tournament to a screen.
I love Eric. Eric Haslam's great.
Do you know what I would do if that happened? If like something like that happened to Ken?
Dude, that would be the worst thing ever.
Probably the same thing I did last time. Make up a hypothetical bracket
we would do so many
and follow Joe Lenardi's simulation on Twitter.
We would do so many podcasts. The Atlantic 10 receives 0 NCAA tournament bids.
I'm assuming that was Patelis.
Yes.
Okay.
Stanford goes to their first March Madness in 12 years.
Yes, dude, I'm really in on that. Good take. I don't agree, but good take.
Another Seton Hall hypothetical win. A lot of people are in on the Pirates.
Sorry, that was my father. He does not have any hot takes to share.
Wei Lin wins Big Ten Freshman of the Year. What do you think, Jonathan?
Are we sure he's on campus yet?
He is. He played.
Oh, I mean, maybe. Like, the Big Ten Freshman of the Year race is wide open to me.
This guy dropped like 30 like D3 conference opinions.
I'm kind of in on that.
Xavier will finish outside the top 150. Way too many of these takes are positive about like teams that like we think are going to be bad, or negative about teams that we think are going to be good. What about being negative? What about being overly negative about a team that we already think is going to be bad?
Isn't that Xavier?
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Tunde Yesufu establishes himself among the elite with Boozer Peterson and DeBansta. Can't see that, but I am a Tunde guy.
Yeah.
Someone will get busted for betting on their team to win and cover.
Very likely. Very likely.
I think that's already happened. All right, that's it. It's time.
The A10 gets ball.
Let's talk for one of like 3 times all season. We are about to talk women's basketball. Jack Church, the great Jack Church,
the mighty silly Jack Church.
Welcome to Brackets Bubbles and Bit Steelers, Jack.
Thank you for having me once again for my one of 2 yearly appearances. It is this, usually before the Final Four.
Yeah, Jack. So let's get started and let's talk about.
Sam, I got to go do some stuff real quick, so I will be back.
This is always Jonathan.
I have nothing to provide here.
Neither do I, but I have to be here.
You're hosting, so.
We have to talk about women's basketball because the last time we saw women's basketball, Sarah Strong won the national championship with UConn.
She did.
Izzy Fudd is back. Jenna Alfie is back. A lot of players from that UConn team are back. The Huskies have to be the national championship favorite.
Oh, they absolutely are. And then you add a big transfer in Pharrell Williams from Wisconsin, not from UConn, to UConn from Wisconsin. Like, this team just has so much talent. I'm not, you can't compare it to, the Breanna Stewart Connecticut teams, but like, because that's just not the world of sports in anymore. But like, this is as talented of a team as you're going to get in this era of women's college basketball. This, like,
KKR was the starting point guard on a team that made the Final Four when she was a freshman. And she was like the 7th man last year, and she's going to be like the 6th man this year.
And that's just how UConn rolls.
Ashlyn Shade started on a team that made the Final Four as a freshman as well. Like, and like the freshman class, like they have the international big man. They have a bunch of talented players in this freshman class as well.
Yeah, UConn, like the conversation going on is about undefeated season again. And like, that's, it's much harder to do than when they used to do it. But
in play.
It's definitely in play, especially considering, they don't play South Carolina this year. That was one of their hardest games every year.
Well, it wasn't hard last year.
It wasn't hard last year either time.
But let's move that into a conversation about the Gamecocks, because the Gamecocks are number 1 on Torvik, but they already lost Chloe Kitts and Ashlyn Watkins for the season. Can they survive? I know they brought in Tanaya Latson. Raven Johnson is back. They have a good freshman class as well, as they always do. Tessa Johnson's back. Joyce Edwards. What do I need to know about the Gamecocks? Can they win a national championship without Kitts and Watkins?
If they're going to win a national championship, Tanaya Latson has to be first team All-American, if not National Player of the Year contender, just because of how South Carolina is set up. They were set up as a team where Tahina Paopao was basically, running that offense as their star guard, Full Wiley as well. She's obvious. Both of them are gone.
Yeah, we'll talk Full Wiley.
Yeah, we'll talk Full Wiley when we get to LSU. But South Carolina is a team that was set up to just rely on Tanaya Latson to be their main guard option. And when you lose Watkins, Joyce Edwards is also going to have to be somebody who steps up. She had a really good freshman season, but she is going to be relied on much, much more heavily than she was a season ago. And, that's also, it's just, Tanaya Latson and Joyce Edwards is pretty much the keys to South Carolina's season. Do I think, they're obviously not national title favorites, but they're still, I'd still say at least one of, with Texas, just those 2 teams are still pretty clearly at the top of the SEC, I'd say.
Yeah. The other team that's in the top 3 at Torvik right now is UCLA. Lauren Betts is back. Gabriela Jaquez is back. A lot of girls from this team are back. But what did they do to get better?
It's just, first of all, it starts with another season of maturity for Lauren Betts. She is a truly outstanding player in our game. She's the type of person who you're going to rely on night in and night out, because when you have a star player like that,
is she the best player in college basketball?
I mean, I think just comparing her to like say AZ Fudd or Sarah Strong is so up in the air. I think she's being projected as the #1 draft pick in the WNBA in a lot of places. So I'd say, that's a pretty solid argument. I just think it's so hard to compare.
Okay.
But
I would say her and Sarah Strong are the two best players in the sport.
Yeah, no, I think that definitely makes a lot of sense. I think, unfortunately, I think
Watkins is injured, obviously.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately the National Player of the Year race relies on a lot of team results, and UCLA is the type of team where they're either going to, be great, win the Big Ten again, be a 1 seed again, or they're going to just not have enough gas around Lauren Betts. They do get Gianna Niepkins out of the portal from Utah, which is going to be a big impact. They get Legger Walker back from injury. There is a lot of talent, but it's still going to be, can Lauren Betts beat teams by herself? And, relying on that can be hard, especially over the course of the season. But they're still, just because of her talent alone, they're, projected #3 in the AP poll, projected to win the Big Ten again.
Let's go back to the SEC. For LSU, we mentioned Mylasia Fulwiley is there, Flau'jae Johnson is there, Michaela Williams is there. Those are 3 really, really talented players. Now all upperclassmen. They were all making big waves when they were freshmen as well. So for those 3 in the backcourt, do you think any of them are a point guard, though, is the question?
I mean, Kim Mulkey said that Fulwiley was playing point guard. I watched one of their exhibitions, and I don't know how much you can draw from an exhibition against Mississippi College. I'm going to try to draw a little bit from it, is that, first of all, I thought Fulwiley being on the bench on that opening exhibition was very interesting. Secondly, Fulwiley looked pretty good running the point. She wasn't playing with the starting unit, so she wasn't playing with Flau'jae Johnson. She wasn't playing with Michaela Williams, but the signs were there that she can develop in that way. I don't know if when you get into SEC play, how that's going to look. She was playing Mississippi College when I watched her. Mississippi College being the typical strength of non-conference opponent Kim Mulkey schedules, but still not comparable.
Well, they do have to play a conference schedule.
They do have to play a conference schedule.
Yeah, but what I will say is, if you remember a couple of years ago, LSU did the same thing where they brought a really talented combo guard from a really good team over to play point guard for them, and it didn't work.
It did not.
It didn't work at all.
Worked out pretty well for TCU.
Yeah, it worked out extremely well for TCU. Haley Van Lith ended up being really, really good for TCU last year. Is Mylasia Fulwiley just the next Haley Van Lith, or is there more to her game?
I think the difference between Fulwiley and Van Lith is that Fulwiley at South Carolina had a little bit more experience running the offense. Not in a traditional point guard sense, but she was still often relied on as that option for South Carolina when they needed to move the ball forward. She also has a lot of more experience playing with a lot more talented players. No disrespect to those Louisville teams that Haley Van Lith was on, but South Carolina is a different kind of loaded than Louisville was.
I want to run through a couple more teams in the SEC. I'm going to start with Texas because, Rory Harmon and Madison Booker, that duo is one of the best in the country. What do you think about their transfers that they brought in around those two?
I think Texas is, definitely a contender to win the SEC, especially with South Carolina's injuries. It'll all come down to that one game. We won't have 2 games and then a coin flip. But I really like Bria Cunningham coming in from Arizona, adding to this team. When you lose Wanantanda, you lose a lot of options in the front court. You're going to need Cunningham and Oldacre to take a step forward. And I think that's going to be the key. Madison Booker can do it all. She's a phenomenal player, but Texas really needs more of that depth in the front court to, beat South Carolina, LSU, and, be a contender to win the SEC.
How good is Aaliyah Chavez at Oklahoma?
I think
is she the best freshman in the country, or is that Jazzy Davidson at USC?
I think Aaliyah Chavez is going to have a better freshman season because I think she has the pieces around her that will help her mature very quickly. Aaliyah Chavez is getting a very unique opportunity to play with Reagan Beers, one of the best forwards, Peyton Verhulst, one of the best guards in the country. She's going to be around talent. She's going to be in a situation where she's learning from some of the best. She's going to be in a situation where she can mature very quickly. Also, Jenny Bronchek, a great developmental coach. You saw what she did, last year at Oklahoma sort of was the beginning, and this year's the year where they can, push to be, ideally a top 10 team, maybe even a top 2 seed, maybe even a 1 seed if certain things break the right way.
Vanderbilt returns Michaela Blakes. We know how highly you think of Michaela Blakes.
We do know how highly I think of Michaela Blakes.
Is there enough around Michaela Blakes to give Shea Roth a step forward?
As much as I want to say yes, I think losing Camille Pierre makes it a no. I think Galvin looked really good. Audrey Galvin, the freshman, looked really good in their exhibition against Memphis. I will say, but
can I just also say this is like the best I've ever seen Vanderbilt football, men's basketball, women's basketball all at once.
It is
by a lot,
and it's mostly football doing that.
Men's basketball too, like
men's basketball too.
And then Texas A&M, 2 MAC transfers: Nicera Pryor from Sacred Heart and Fatmata Jane from St. Peter's. Shout out. Gotta love the Metro Atlantic Conference, Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference respect from Joni Taylor and Ian Curtis. I know he's gonna appreciate that call out.
I just don't see enough talent.
Oh no, they're not going to be good.
Team to make the tournament. I think
it's good, but they've got MAC players. So
they got MAC players.
Give me your sleeper, the team that we obviously like. Don't say Duke because like Duke's going to be really good. Oh wait, quickly. You got to talk about Tennessee for a second, and then I'm going to ask you to give us a sleeper that like we're not talking.
So Tennessee was looking great until about 1:00 p.m. today. For those of you who don't, super pay attention, Ruby Whitehorn was dismissed from the team due to her second arrest over the course of the offseason. I think that heavily changes the outlook, but especially because Tennessee's a team that relies on depth with their 5-in, 5-out system of substitution. They have to play at least 10 players. They've been, playing even more than that, but it's a big loss for Tennessee, especially going into a big top 10 showdown with NC State on Tuesday.
All right. Give me we also have to mention it. Former Tennessee head coach Kelly Harper losing to a D2 team.
Yeah, that wasn't that wouldn't be the way I would want to start. We should have had Litskin here for this part. I think whenever he comes back we should just bring it up again. But
all right, give me one sleeper high major team that nobody's talking about that you think is going to be really good.
Define really good, like
a team that has a chance to be like a top 4, top 5 seed that like nobody's thinking about.
I don't know if nobody's thinking about them, but a lot of people are dismissing Kentucky just because of the loss of Georgia Amore. They'll need Clara Strack, Tiana Key, and Amelia Hassett to be great. They'll need a lot from Tony Morgan in that backcourt to sort of, nobody can replace Georgia Amore, but to sort of do some of the things.
Recreator in the aggregate.
It's not even recreator in the aggregate. It's just hope to recreate 2/3 of her in the aggregate. But with that front court development, I think Kentucky can be a team that's, pushing for, you mentioned top 4 seed, but I even say top 4 in the conference.
All right, Jack, last but not least, a mid-major team to watch that nobody's talking about.
A mid-major team to watch that nobody's I'm going to give a different thing than you asked first. I'm going to give a mid-major team that everybody's talking about. I want to see how South Florida reacts to Jose Fernandez getting hired by the Dallas Wings. I think there's a lot of talent on this team. Carla Brito's coming back. She was named the conference's preseason player of the year. They also have a bunch of high-impact transfer players. They have a ton of talent. I think they're still the favorite to win the American. But, you never know how losing a coach is going to affect that. Florida Gulf Coast did very well when Smesko left with that transition.
Jack, thank you so much for coming on to Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stewards for a quick 15-minute hit talking about women's basketball. We'll have you back on for the Final Four preview.
As always, looking forward to it.
That was the great Jack Church, and now we are bringing on Matthew Winnick. Welcome to Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stewards for the first time, Matthew. I know it's a little bit of a morning day in Canada right now, but really glad that you were able to join us.
I feel like maybe the luckiest Canadian ever because I care so deeply about college basketball, and there was only that 1 day break between obviously the awful Toronto Blue Jays loss and college basketball. Like, if I had to sit with that loss for a week, it would have sucked way more than like, okay, tomorrow I'm being thrust into just complete mayhem in college hoops. So it'll get my mind off of it pretty quick.
Speaking of complete mayhem, that's exactly what we're going to talk about because we have 169 games tomorrow, and we're going to preview in depth everything. No, we're not.
The non-D1 versus D1 games would definitely be a little bit beyond my purview. I can't give you an Arlington Baptist preview, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I don't know if the Arlington Baptist coach can give you an Arlington Baptist preview. He's probably like a part-timer.
Good question. Let's
look this up. Is Arlington Baptist, is their head coach like a full-time basketball coach?
I don't even know if you'll be able to find that. Listen, your show.
Bubba Jennings. No, he is not. Head men's basketball and golf coach.
Oh, those are similar, so that makes sense.
Yes, those are very similar sports. The exact same thing comes into coaching them. It's all about spacing.
I mean, yeah, team sport, right?
Technically, golf is a team sport.
Caddy.
Yeah.
All right. Biggest game of the day. Everyone's been talking about it. It's Florida and it's Arizona. It's in Vegas. It's at 7. It's at the Golden Knights Arena. This is really good for the game. I love that we have an opening night blockbuster that everyone can turn on. And we had like the big games a couple years ago on TNT to start the season, but they weren't like this. This is one to really look out for. Key to the game, Jonathan. Give me one for Florida.
I think it's the freshmen for Arizona. Those are going to be
for Florida.
Huh?
I said for Florida.
Oh, for Florida. Okay. I think the backcourt defense. We know the front court can defend, but I think Arizona is going to try to pick on Xavier Lee. And how deep can they go in that backcourt? Like, can AJ Brown play meaningful minutes for you? Can any of the freshmen play meaningful minutes for you? Because I think either one of Jaden Bradley or Braden Berries is going to have a big day. I don't know if both of them have a big day, but Xavier Lee doesn't guard. And I think if they can play more collective team defense and go deeper into that rotation early in the season, I think that they'll have more success that way.
Matthew, what is the key for Arizona?
Key for Arizona is figuring out who on earth plays the 3 spot against Florida, just because Thomas Houck is going to be starting at the 3 for the Gators. And obviously he is not the typical wing player in that he was a backup 4 last year. He's 6'9", really strong, good rebounder outside of the ball skills he has. Right in Arizona's Division I exhibition game, they started Anthony Del Orso at the 3, and Anthony Del Orso cannot guard Thomas Houck. That's just not going to work.
I don't know if he can guard Sam Fetterman.
Yeah, I don't really know if there's too many players that Anthony Del Orso would have a positive defensive matchup on. So either you're playing bigger with one of the European freshmen, and again, that's being thrust into a giant moment for your first real counting Division I game, or Florida just has, a mismatch down low all game, and Todd Golden's going to crash the offensive glass, and they have the chance to really dominate the interior in this game if Arizona does not have an answer for some of the bigs and the big wing of the Gators.
Yeah, I think that's one of the interesting things about Florida this year that you don't think about a ton until you're actually getting into previewing matchups. But basically every game, Florida is going to be able to force you to change your lineup around to deal with them the way that Thomas Houck plays. And you go through 6 months of offseason, and that thought comes into your head a couple times. And then you see it play out. And you're like, damn, Arizona is going to have to play Karchenkov a lot on opening night in order to guard Thomas Houck. Mm-hmm. In order to have any success rebounding the basketball. And I think Krivas and Pete can be a really good rebounding front court. I think they'll rebound. I think Arizona's going to be a really tough team to play against, but I think there's levels of toughness. And Florida, outside of their backcourt, which I think is a lot more of the mixtape backcourt, for lack of a better word, their front court is going to punish you. And they have guards in the back. They have guards. Ingram can punish you. Lloyd can punish you as kind of like if they can come in and give you 5-10 minutes of a punch. So I think Florida is kind of going to introduce Arizona to a different level of punch on opening night. And I think that's kind of what's going to be the difference in this game.
No, for sure.
Jonathan, anything to add?
I would just say that I think it's probably easier for Arizona to scout Florida than it is for Florida to scout Arizona for this one. I think with the freshmen that are going to play for Arizona, you are probably less accustomed to the way Arizona is going to want to play. And if it's any different from last year, I think Arizona has the advantage there. I do think that the 3 spot is going to be an issue, like Matthew said, for Arizona.
I go back to like the old adage of like with Florida, it's not really about, Arizona beating them. For me, it's more about like Florida just can't beat themselves. Like they have such a steady core of a backcourt that will not turn it over and a front court that will get offensive rebounds that they almost certainly win the shot battle in nearly every game they play. They just can't play any level of decent performance, and they should be able to handle a team like Arizona that is not yet experienced in a game such like this.
I agree. I think Arizona is going to get to a point where they'll be right in these games.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of something that we're going to have to keep an eye on, like their progress. We're going to have to keep like a progress meter on Arizona throughout the season, on Berries, on Pete, on Karchenkov. If CD Gay is going to be a contributor for this team, we'll have to keep an eye on that. There's a couple of barometers early in the season. You've got the Florida game. You've got UCLA and UConn in November. You've got Auburn and Alabama in December. Then you've got San Diego State, and then you go into Big 12 play. But you don't really have a Big 12 test. Your first 6 Big 12 games are Utah, Kansas State. Your first 5 Big 12 games are Utah, Kansas State, TCU, Arizona State, UCF. They should be 5-0 in the Big 12.
They should. They won't be, but they should.
They should. Their first Big 12 test comes, depending on what you think of Cincinnati and West Virginia, either one of those 2 games or at BYU on January 26th. Just kind of like last year, where Arizona kind of got a big head start in the Big 12 because they started with TCU, Cincinnati, West Virginia, UCF.
Yeah. It's the West Coast thing. The schedule is very bizarre with a team that has to travel across country to play all these games.
Absolutely. Now, want to talk about the other game in Vegas. And let's be honest here. This game, I don't think it's going to go well for Villanova. I don't. I think BYU is going to kill them. I think just we're going to see the talent gap between these 2 teams show. And I think Matt Hodge, against DeMonsta, is a really fun matchup. Matt Hodge is really underrated. Maybe one of the most underrated players in the country right now. But AJ DeMonsta is going to AJ DeMonsta has a thing where when he's locked in on defense, he really locks in. When he's locked in on offense, he really locks in. He has moments where he's kind of not locked in. But you think his first college game in Vegas, in that setting, there's going to be NBA scouts from 25 teams there probably. You think he's not going to be locked in for that? AJ DeMonsta is the first game, and he is going to set the tone for his season. He's going to drop 30. BYU wins by at least 15.
That's interesting. It's funny. I do not like Villanova's roster at all. However, I can acknowledge that Kevin Willard had the guys play extremely scrappy hoop in the exhibition season, and I know that only matters to an extent. Whether you are a Devin Askew fan or not, you'd be encouraged or discouraged to know that he is actually likely to play in this game.
Oh, God, not good.
In a limited sample, 10 to 15.
Okay, good.
But there will be some Devin Askew in this game more likely than not, which is definitely a surprise given the timeline was mid-December. So depending on your thoughts on him, my thoughts are not particularly kind. And yet, I just still think that this game will be somewhat close. Now, Ken Pom has it at 5. I wouldn't go as far as to say 5. If you're a gambling man, then that's currently about 8 or 9, which is obviously quite far away from Ken Pom. I think that it might land in between the 9 and the 5, 7-8 point game, just because this might be a Kevin Willard special. He's going to do everything in his power to slow this game down as much as possible. Villanova doesn't have much of a bench, but if Devin Askew does play, Bryce,
they don't have much of a starting lineup either.
They don't have much of a starting lineup either. Bryce Lindsey is going to get a lot of 3-point looks off against the BYU defense that will give up a 3 in order to avoid dribble penetration. And BYU, just outside of their starting 5, which can be very electric, there is a lot of question marks. And in a game where they get a little uncomfortable, it slows down, someone gets into foul trouble, I just see BYU struggling to pull away and make this a complete blowout despite the firepower in that starting 5. And I could be wrong, and Villanova's poor roster might show itself out and it's a 30-point blowout. I just feel like this will be a high single-digit game.
Yeah, I understand that. I just don't think BYU is going to have any problem pulling away because this is an offense that I think can score 8 points in a minute like that.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a top 5 offense in the country, and I think like we're going to be looking at that on night 1.
Inevitably, it's going to come down to, can Villanova make shots against a BYU team that will not let them get to the rim? And can BYU get anything from their bench? Like anything at all?
Jonathan.
Boscovich did show some flashes down the stretch last year, if I remember correctly. But you're right, Matthew. Like, this bench is thin. You know, you have Nate Pickens hurt right now. Dawson Baker has been hurt in the past. Like, you know, this is a team that I think, you know, you can roll them out with the starting 5 and argue that they have one of the 5 best starting 5s in the entire country. But once you get past those 5, it becomes a real question mark. And if they get into their bench and Villanova can win those minutes with BYU's bench on the floor, like, I think that's where the game's close.
All right. So those are the only 2 games, I think, between high major teams. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's fine. Because this is a show for sickos now. We are going into real sicko hours. 11 and this is not even real sicko hours. This is kind of surface level sicko stuff right now. We'll get into real sicko hours in a minute.
Okay.
Bradley St. Bonaventure. Jonathan, you know what it's time for? Our first Valley update of the season. Talk to us about what Bradley needs to do to defeat the Bonnies.
So I think it depends on what you're looking for, because Bradley is a team that, you know, has kind of gone away from their defensive identity that they had the last couple of years because of losing guys like Rink Mast, like Malavi Leons. I think this will be an offense first team, Sam. And I think it's the guards for Bradley that can go win them this game. Jaquan Johnson, Demarion Birch. Those guys are the guys that I pointed out as like breakout guys for Bradley, Sam. And against the Fordham team that I think, you know, we talked about them earlier, Sam. You can sell yourself on this Fordham team with Bonaventure, excuse me, with the pieces they have. I think this will be a good game. I think if Bradley rebounds, which they have guys like AJ Smith, like Yonovich, those are your guys that'll clean up inside. If they can limit second chances for St. Bonaventure, I think they'll win the game.
Matthew, what do you think about St. Bonaventure's chances to win this game?
Yeah, look, I have this game, these 2 teams within, like, I think actually back-to-back in my rankings that I put out this year. Like, these are completely even matched teams. In my eyes, the difference will come down to, you mentioned Demarion Birch. And Demarion Birch versus Buddy Simmons of St. Bonaventure, the Gardner-Webb transfer. They're both high-scoring 2 guards alongside DeSante Bowen for St. Bonaventure and Jaquan Johnson for Bradley, 2 pass-first guys. One of them will have a 20, 25-point game, and that team will probably win because both squads will do a good job keeping the other off of the glass. They will limit turnovers to an extent. They have 2 very smart coaches that are going to put them in very good positions to win. But the X factors are those 2 high-scoring 2 guards. And if one of them explodes, that team is probably going to have the edge in this contest. That would probably be the make it or break it for me.
I think this is going to be a really fun one. I love both of these coaches. I think that this is going to be a chess match between 2 of the stalwart mid-major icon minds in college basketball, guys that have been there a while, that have won a lot of games, but maybe not made national waves. So they're still at these schools and they're still building their program builder types. But I do my big question for Bonaventure has just been all right, what is Joe Grahovic? What do we know about him and what do we not know about him? I've watched some of the film. it's not very high level competition that he's playing against, but the flashes are there. This is our first chance to really see him. I'm so excited to see that. Same with Akil Lanati, another guy who I see the upside vision with, but we haven't seen him play in America yet. And I want to know how deep they're going to go on the bench. I want to see, are we going to see Ilya Ermakov? Are we going to see a lot of Amari Marshall, or is it going to be Buddy Simmons? Who are we going to see more of in that? Because I know you mentioned Simmons. I like Amari Marshall a lot. What are we going to see in the front court next to Frank Mitchell? Who's going to get those minutes if there are any minutes to go? That's the thing. St. Bonaventure's never been a team that plays a deep bench, but I think they have 8 or 9 guys that can play this year.
I have good news for you. I have watched St. Bonaventure in person this year, and I can answer a lot of those questions for you. I would like to hope that this could be insightful. Okay. Joe Grahovic, extremely talented, not physical. Needs to put on weight.
That sounds right.
Really struggled to get to his spots. Obviously,
when did you see them?
Each other. I saw them at they had a pro day that Wojnarowski put on in New York City, where I live, and I was able to get some eyes on them along with Tom Thibodeau, not next to Tom Thibodeau, but along with Tom Thibodeau. That was cool. Grahovic, he couldn't get to his spots, right? Like, he made tough shots. If a pass got him into an advantageous position, he finishes strong, but he's not, getting the ball in the high post and getting to where he wants to go. He has to be led. Akile Lanati, excellent shooter. That's kind of it. So another kind of guy that has to be set up. The creators are really Bo and Buddy Simmons on this team. Amari Marshall is going to be probably a bench guard who will play a fair amount. Look out for Daniel Abunike.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
From Tennessee Tech. He was really, really good. He'll play some 3 and some 4. Just a little bit of everything guy, kind of like Chance Moore was last year. Maybe a little bit less of a usage role, but just fills a lot of different buckets. And then, as long as Frank Mitchell is not in foul trouble, expect a lot of Frank Mitchell at the 5. That will be their best chance in the front court.
Yeah. I'm really, really excited to see, what does he want to do? Because you mentioned a bunch of those bench guys. Like, this is not a guy who likes playing a deep bench. I think he has the dudes to do it this year. I don't think it's going to happen, because I don't think I've ever seen it. And I've said before, look, St. Bonaventure, Quadri Adams could play more this year, or John Farrell or something like that. And you just don't see them play a ton of minutes. I hope that we see a little more of a bench. I don't think we're going to see much of a bench. That's enough talk about St. Bonaventure's bench.
Last thing is Grahovic gonna be a guy that plays a lot for them, because that would be AJ Smith's matchup theoretically.
Yeah, he'll start. I would be surprised if he doesn't start.
Yeah,
Agumake will slide down to the 4 when Grahovic's out. And he might start at the 3, quite honestly. Marshall and Agumake will be the 2 guys in the position for the 3 spot, and whoever doesn't start will come and play some small ball for him.
Sounds like that could be a tough opening night for him then, with AJ Smith guarding him. That's a physical player, right?
That is an elite rebound.
I love AJ Smith.
I don't like the other AJ Smith. I like that.
No, definitely not. Definitely not in on that.
That's the crazy thing. There are 2 AJ Smiths who keep on bouncing around upper mid-major teams, and it's one very good, other one I don't think he's very good at all. So
no,
the good one.
No, I'm definitely not a fan of that AJ Smith.
No.
Another game to talk about for tomorrow. We got the Sun Belt MAC Challenge.
Oh yeah.
Just a couple games to go over from that. We've got James Madison and Akron, Arkansas State, Ohio, South Alabama, Toledo, Texas State, Bowling Green. Anyone want to take Marshall, UMass? Anyone want to take on any one of those games?
Sure. My favorite game, the one I'm most excited to watch, is South Alabama, Toledo. The reason for that is South Alabama's zone is primetime television whenever it's on, because they either absolutely dominate a team, have 25 turnovers, and win by 30, or they get absolutely blasted from deep, allow 23 balls, and lose to Louisiana Monroe.
They lost to Louisiana Monroe twice.
Same week. There's no in between with this basketball team. They're going to be a lot of fun. They have basically no Division I returning talent outside of John Broom, who was one of the lowest usage guards in the entire country. So you're going to learn a lot about some NAIA. There's an NAIA guy named, I believe, Chazé Harris, who is just a slasher, elite athletic guard going to the rim at like 6'6", and he'll be their main on-ball option. He'll be a joy to watch. There's a Canadian U Sports transfer. That's my neck of the woods. Adam Olsen, who put together an outstanding performance in their exhibition game, and he'll probably be their leading scorer this year if it's not Chazé Harris. And then Toledo, Sonny Wilson and a bunch of freshmen. Should be extremely interesting to see how Todd Kowalczyk meshes with the new roster. They haven't played defense in years. They particularly did not play defense last year. It should be so much fun. Clash of styles, two good coaches, very good coaches, and that'll be number one on my Max Sunbelt watching list.
Yeah, I mean, you think of a Kowalczyk team, you think of an offensive team, you think of a team that's going to just be able to exploit you in different ways. They actually weren't great against zone last year, which is kind of surprising. You think about just the way that they play, you think they shred zone. They don't.
I think they'll do more than okay against this zone, although they did play a lot of zone last year. I think they played 2 of the Horizon zones. They at least played Oakland and were
you do play a lot of zone in the Horizon with Oakland and Northern Kentucky.
Toledo got destroyed by Oakland zone, and I think that dropped their zone numbers. Oakland zone and South Alabama zone are extremely different. I think that Toledo will be well prepared for this one and actually be able to score a decent amount.
Yeah, I want to talk about James Madison and Akron because the Zips are a team that I think a lot of people are talking about, but maybe not as many people as should be talking about them. Javari Johnson is back. That's a superstar for this league, I think. You're looking at one of the best players in the MAC. Sharon Young and Shama Scott back as well, getting some experience in there. But the key for this team for me is in the front court. You got Amani Lyles back, a big physical 5-man that can play. Evan Mahaffey, a really, really good guy for this league. I was kind of like a fan of his low key when he was in the Big Ten with Ohio State, just as he comes in, he makes shit happen on the defensive end, good rebounder. And I think that's going to really be accentuated playing in the MAC. And then the name that I'm really interested in is Angin Stankovic, the freshman from Europe who I've heard really good things about. Akron is my pick to win the MAC. I wanted to take them in our draft. I ended up with Miami, Ohio, but I did want to take Akron. And then James Madison is a team that's going to be really, really competitive in the Sun Belt. You know how big of a Preston Spradlin fan I am. I think Eddie Ricks could be in for a big year. They brought in some other good guys as well. Very fascinating to see kind of who takes that next step for them out of the transfers because there's a lot of them.
Sam, Kent State Troy is another one that I'll have my eyes on. These defenses were both very good last year. Both these teams returned some, but are replacing the studs from their teams last year. So there's some new pieces here. Interested to see how these teams mesh and if they're going to play the same style and be the same type of teams that they were last year.
Why hasn't Blake made a pick yet?
I don't know. He just called me. So
is he sending the pick in that way?
I don't know.
Yeah, call him back.
Okay, give me a sec.
No. This call is going on the air.
No, he may say things that he regrets.
Yeah, he could say things. All right, Matthew, we're gonna go. Want to stay in the MAC Sunbelt Challenge. Want to hear your thoughts on UMass Marshall?
Yeah, the question with Marshall is they have one of the most unique players in college basketball in Matthew Van Komen.
Oh my God, I forgot that he went there.
Yeah. He bounced around, I believe Utah, St. Mary's, went D2.
Saw him in person
D2. Pardon?
I saw him in person last year.
Rec D2, went to Elon last year, and there was not a player in the country with bigger on-off splits than a certain Matthew Van Komen at Elon. I'm going to pull this up for you right now because it's truly absolutely insane, and I want to say it out loud. So Elon was
another heavy zone, by the way, heavy zone team.
Yes, well, so I'll get into that. So Elon was 8 points worse offensively with Matthew Van Komen. That was a 9th percentile rate. They were 15 points better per 100 possessions defensively with Matthew Van Komen. That's a 99th percentile rate.
Yeah, it's the difference between Sam Sherry being your 5-man in the zone and a 7-4 guy.
Well, they barely even played zone without Matt Van Komen, at least down the stretch in the season, because they were just like a normal basketball team. But when you have a 7-4 just wrecker of basketball down at the bottom of the zone, and then you just can play, complete denial of any driving lane because you know he's going to erase any and everything, then your defense is outstanding. And my question is Marshall going to play that? Obviously, they invested significant resources, I would assume financially, into Van Komen playing his final year of college basketball in West Virginia at Marshall. Are they going to play his zone? Are they going to tailor their entire team to his success? Because really, that's what Elon did. And when he wasn't in the lineup, they were a completely different team. They played way faster. They changed their defense. Like everything was different. So Marshall is completely dependent on how Van Komen looks in their system and if they build it around him. And if they do, with the amount of really good shooting they put around him, this could be a really good basketball team.
UMass could shoot this year. Just going to straight up come out and say it. UMass might be able to shoot this year. In their exhibition against Brown, they made a lot of threes. And Marcus Banks is one of the best shooters in the country.
Okay, yeah.
I'm really fascinated to see what they do with that. Very fascinated by Donovan Brown, KJ Parker. Carbuccia, as a freshman, I know he's gotten some freshman buzz in that conference. I'm not the biggest fan of his.
Yeah.
But I like that they bring back Hank and Sanford. I think he's going to have a good year. I think Njigge is like a really solid kind of role guy on the wing. But Marcus Banks is going to be a stud for this team. And if they can find enough shooting around him, he'll have plenty of spacing to shoot 40% again on high volume.
Well, if Marshall plays zone, then Marcus Banks might have a lot of points.
Yes. I think Marcus Banks could have a lot of points anyway. That's kind of what he does.
Yeah. He might have a lot of points no matter who's guarding him. But I like Marshall.
Yeah, he could average
as the season goes.
Marcus Banks could average 18.
Yeah. If you like fantasy, I don't know how any of that stuff works. I know how
points are valued in that, and so are threes. So I would say
I was going to get into something I didn't know anything about, so I'm going to back out from that stance.
Let's move on from the MAC Sun Belt Challenge. The very first game of the season. Let's talk Field of 68 now. Go back to that. Very first game of the season in Rock Hill, South Carolina, Queens and Winthrop. This is basically a Winthrop home game, but it's because it's in Rock Hill, but Queens is not far from there. Mm-hmm. I took Queens in our team's draft as kind of like my last pick because I didn't really know who else I wanted to take. But the Royals are a team. I know they're they were getting a lot of buzz. I know they don't have
Bryce Cash.
Yeah, Bryce Cash. I was wondering that was the name. But Winthrop going to have another solid season in the Big South probably. These are probably going to be two of the better teams in the southern mid-major landscape.
I don't know about Queens. I'm a little out on Queens. Not out on Queens like as a general whole, but I'm definitely out on Queens relative to some of the buzz that I've been hearing. The reality is Bryce Cash was their best passer last year, best defender last year on the perimeter, and he's gone. Leo Colomario was basically their do-it-all hub. He had an extremely his stats look like mid-major Cooper Flag stats. Like I know that's a bad comp, but like rebounding, passing, hit a couple of threes.
Really good player last year.
Really, really good. And then of course Malcolm Wilson, number one in the entire country in block percentage. So you had the best rim protector, a do-it-all power forward hub, and then like a pass-first 6'5" point guard. And all of those guys are gone, and the only guy that returns is the flashy guy who had over 100 threes on the season on over 300 attempts. And Chris Ashby is a fantastic shooter, but he's not a fantastic shot creator. And I just don't know who on Queens is getting him looks. He's going to take a ton of shots, but a lot of them will be contested. And I don't care how good of a shooter you are. If you don't have someone setting the table for you, if you don't have secondary options, you're not going to be efficient. And I just don't really see the pathway to the rest of this Queens team making sense relative to last year. And the expectations this year are higher than what they were last year.
And Winthrop?
And Winthrop is going to be probably better. I don't know what their front court really looks like. They obviously lost one of the best players in program history in Kelton Talford. And what that looks like now, I don't know. Like they could choose to play big. They have Logan Duncombe on the roster, former Indiana guy who was there last year. I think they'll probably be best when they play small. Pharrell Boyugueno, probably butchered the name, is like a really athletic 6'6" wing who could probably play some 4.
I love
from
Kareem
Charleston
Rozier.
Southern in this league. Really good player.
I love Kareem Rozier in that spot. I think
Yeah.
I think that's a really good level for him.
Yeah. Push the pace. They were really fast in transition last year. He obviously loves to run. He'll be good there. I think they could be one of the best offensive, highest scoring teams in the country this year. They could be top 10.
Yeah, he was one of those like really solid, like kind of spark plug A10 guys when he was at Duquesne. But was very clearly not good enough to be like running an offense at that level. He's good enough to run a Big South offense. There's a couple of guys in the Big South that I feel kind of like that about. Like Jacoy Hutchinson, I think is going to be really good in the Big South.
Yeah. Dennis Parker and Del Jones at Radford are both going to be good in the Big South. Like they're just way too athletically gifted to not.
I mean, obviously that's going to be a really a really talented Big South team. It just depends. Can Zach Chu coach basketball? I'm not sure if Zach Chu knows if Zach Chu can coach.
I think Zach Chu can coach basketball. We're not giving the guy who spent almost a decade with NBA coaches on a daily basis enough credit. Like this guy's been. I understand that you got to do it, but if we're talking like first year guys like Charlie Ward, Mike Bibby, Zach.
Oh, no, I am not. I am not in on Charlie Ward or Mike Bibby. I just want to make that entirely clear.
Yeah,
I'm not in on either of those.
I think that he'll be fine. It's not obviously it's his first real coaching gig, but he's been around some very smart people, and he sounds like a very smart person. And maybe it's me being naive and considering myself a very smart person. Not saying I could coach a Division I team, but I think that if you have a decade of experience and are a very smart basketball person, it'll just work. It'll work.
Okay. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying Zach Chu has never coached a basketball game as a.
Oh, dude, this is good. I come back. We're talking Radford. Let's go. Matthew, do you like them?
Of course. I love them. I think they're going to win the league. I mean, it'll be neck and neck with High Point, but I think they'll win the league.
Yes. I'm so high on them.
Zach Chu
I think they're
has never coached a basketball game on the bench as a coach the way that most guys have. That does not mean
it's definitely an experiment.
It just means that I'm not putting any bets on it.
Okay, here's what I'll say. If the Zach Chu experiment works, then give us 10 years. I think we could do it too.
Yeah, let's do it.
10 years. Just 10 years of like
my favorite take about the Zach Chu hire was Will Warren basically said they hired Will Warren to be their head coach.
I mean, one could dream, right? Listen, if I was ever a coach, I would hire Will Warren. So I think that
I do think there's like a group of people out there on Twitter like could make like a decent winning at least like D3 coaching staff.
Listen, Ryan Hammer was talking about being the Wagner head coach because he lives close enough, and there's obviously that situation. And I graciously said, like, I will be your GM. Like, I will get you some talent. I will use my transfer portal rankings, and I will get some good players on Staten Island.
Oh, I don't know about that, man. There's not a lot of money to go around there.
It's fine. We're gonna moneyball it.
We'll find the hidden gems. Okay.
We'll moneyball it.
How many player evaluations did you do? I did 346. I asked for 7.
Well, you got to go down the list far enough at some point.
Yeah. Let's get into maybe a couple other games from tomorrow. Anything else really stand out to you, Matthew?
Ooh. It's a good question. I'm really interested about Charlotte, Indiana State. I think Charlotte could be way better than last year, but also Charlotte 2 years ago had Deshaun Jackson and Igor Milicic as their front court. And now they have like Anton Bonke and Arden Conyers.
I do not think Charlotte's going to be good.
But I like some of their pieces. I mean, I don't think they're going to be like a top half American team. But I don't think they're a last place American team. I like Raul Villar, the Spanish freshman, who was pretty solid this summer for Spain. Dezane Mingo coming from Marshall and Damani Harrison coming from Southern Illinois. Like that trio with Major Freeman off the bench is really interesting to me.
Can I just say that like Major Freeman was addition by subtraction at Siena?
That's possible, but that doesn't mean that he can't. I mean, it's all about role, right?
Yeah, obviously. I just think he comes on the court and like thinks he's better than he is.
It's true, but him and Schultz like was never a very logical pairing.
Yeah, I questioned it from the start.
It might be a little bit of a better situation for Freeman playing way more off ball.
Yeah, I'm not very high on Aaron Fern right now after watching what they did last season. It was not. I was not impressed.
I mean, the roster was also really bad. Not that it's amazing now, but last year's roster was bad. I mean, I guess Nick Graves is going to be starting for Creighton. So is it that bad? But like outside of Nick Graves, like Jashawn Thomas is going to Drake. I don't think he's going to be very good. I think Kylan Blackman ended up somewhere for some reason, somehow.
Kylan Blackman might still be there.
Maybe there? Is it there? Is he still there?
He's on the burner ball depth chart.
Oh, yeah, he is still there. Okay, so
that's
good. That's not good. And then just like Giancarlo Rosado should have never been a starting big man in the American Conference ever, and then that ended up happening for a full season. Like that should not have happened.
Speaking of which, I think I do have my power rankings for the like 5 top mid-major conferences that I never got to post. So I'm going to find those, and we're going to go over them right now, Jonathan, quickly.
Did you guys talk Boston College FAU?
Nope.
At all?
We did not. Jonathan, go.
Well, I just want to like victory lap a little because I think I've said to you, Sam, over the summer that FAU should be favored in this game, and they are.
That's not like that. That's not a take. Like, yes, of course they're favored.
No, but they didn't start that way.
Really?
When the lines first opened up, Boston College was the favorite. It has since flipped, and I don't imagine they'll be flipping.
Where were you guys seeing these lines? Because I checked yesterday and there were no lines.
I will not be telling you that on live.
Okay. Put it in the
Discord. The Chili Donovan burner ball Discord. That's the answer.
Where are the lines in there? I don't see them.
That would be under 3-man weave daily bets, which you're going to want to keep an eye on if you want to make some money this year to all those watching.
Oh yeah, we are.
I don't bet, but I definitely need to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
FAU, I think, has better athletes than Boston College does. And
yes, they have better basketball players.
You can't say that about many mid-major versus high-major matchups, but I think that for this one, and that's true. And I think FAU's winning tomorrow.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a fun one. Going to be tweeting on that from the Mid-Major Madness account for sure. They're going to give me a lot of material.
Red, blue.
Yes, red, blue, FAU, baby.
I can't believe that's still a thing.
Rapid fire. Let's rapid fire a couple games.
Let's do it.
I'm going to start with Merrimack, South Dakota State. First game for South Dakota State with the new coach, Brian Peterson, against the Joe Gallo zone. That could be a really difficult first matchup. I know Peterson is an experienced guy. He's been there. He's won a lot of games as an assistant, but that's a really difficult first matchup. Now for Merrimack, that's a very new team. South Dakota State brings back a lot of guys. So this could be a really fun kind of clash of styles type thing because, South Dakota State wants to move faster. We've seen Merrimack struggle with more athletic teams, but I don't know if we can consider South Dakota State or really anyone in the Summit as a more athletic team. So I kind of think this is a good matchup for Merrimack in that sense. You get a new coach against the zone that isn't particularly athletic. I think that's not a bad matchup for the Warriors. Jonathan, pick a game.
Murray State, Omaha. Yeah, we've talked a lot about this Murray State team.
Field of 68 talk.
What'd you say?
A lot of Field of 68 talk.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they got some good games.
Yeah, shout out Goodman, Douster, everyone that works at Field of 68, CJ Weeps,
Sam Lance.
Yes, shout out everyone at Field of 68 for getting really good matchups.
No, but this is obviously a Murray State team. New coach, whole roster is new. I think they're way more talented than the rankings seem to indicate. But can that talent come together this early in the season? I don't know. I mean, I think there's a pretty big KenPom disparity with like the actual line for this game. They're favored by 3 on KenPom's got it. Murray State -3. I think Omaha is actually -3 in real life. Is it the other way around?
You're on the clock.
I have that wrong. Huh?
You're on the clock.
I'm on the clock.
Yes.
No, KenPom and the betting lines are the same.
Okay.
3.5.
I must have missed that somewhere.
Okay. Harrison Rapnick has a question. Have we discussed Sam Houston State yet?
We have not.
They play a non-D1.
Yeah, so then we're not talking about them because
can I talk about Jacoby Coleman? Because I love Jacoby Coleman.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he's going to have a really good freshman season. I'm just going to plant my flag right now. We're going to come back to this in March. Jacoby Coleman's going to be averaging double digits.
By the way, can I just say something, though? I don't know how this came across my Twitter yesterday, but it did. Sam Houston posted a video meeting him, and they called him Kobe Coleman. So we might be done with the Ja in Ja Kobe.
No, yeah, I haven't figured out like which one I'm calling him yet, because I remember it was Kobe Coleman, it was Jacoby Coleman, it's been both.
Okay, so I think if he plays like Kobe Bryant, we got to call him Kobe Coleman.
What about Cashy Nat? What do we think of Cashy Nat?
Cool name. It's so hard. Like, I had to do so much work this offseason, like figuring out what D2 guys would translate. JUCO has been a thing forever, and like I'm trying to figure that out. I give up with NAIA. Like, I don't know. Like any NAIA guy, there's a couple that like kind of stick out and stand out.
Probably one of the better ones.
Yeah,
I think he was the NAIA Player of the Year.
I mentioned Chazé Harris. He's someone at South Alabama. He's someone that also played NAIA at Life University. Like
very real institution. There are classes going on there.
Life University, running Eagles, and so that's that. But I like him. With some of these NAIA guys, it's just such a hard translation to. Not saying it's hard for them to translate. It's hard for me to understand what their stats mean. So for Cashy Nat, what's unbelievably interesting is, I mean, last year he missed a bunch of the season. But if you look at like his shot profile, he like 85% of his jump shots were off the dribble. So that tells me that he had the ball in his hands the entire time, every possession. And to me, like that's a harder translation to make, going from NAIA to Division I than someone who was like 45% on catch and shoot threes, because that tells me that you're just going to stand in the corner and make more shots. So that's someone I'm a little concerned about, even though the stats were obviously there.
Yeah.
Sam, real quick to finish up what I wanted to say. I'm interested in the Murray State Omaha game because it's a good contrast of a bunch of new players versus Omaha, who returns a couple guys who were pretty important to their success last year. And I know you lose Sutton and JJ White, but I think Murray State's going to have their hands full.
Can I say that I think there's a chance Fairfield beats Penn State tomorrow?
Yeah,
dude. I think there's a chance that Penn State loses pretty much every game they play.
Fairfield's front court is what to watch here, because like we know the backcourt has a lot of talent in it of veteran guys, but the front court, Brandon Benjamin and Declan Wupper-Fenning, two freshmen that have been getting a ton of buzz recently. Benjamin is one of the best rebounders in the class, averaged a lot of rebounds last year in high school at a really high level. Declan can play 5 out, so they can kind of go inverted 4-5 there. So I'm really interested in seeing what Fairfield can do. If those guards are good enough, don't be surprised if they beat Penn State, because Penn State's best player is a freshman playing his first college game.
Can we
I don't really think they have much of a front court.
Can we each pick one team that's buying a team tomorrow to lose?
Can I say Penn State?
No.
Penn State.
You could take Penn State, and I think we should take FAU Boston College off the table because FAU is favored. So
that's fine. I want to
go. Matthew, I'll go to you first.
Good, because I think there's only one other really possible one, so I want to steal it, and it's Youngstown and Pitt. Youngstown State absolutely.
I think there's one other one that's possible.
Pitt is not good. Pitt's not good. Pitt is really not good, and they're kind of being propped up by the last couple of years of Jeff Capel. But don't forget how bad this team can be under Jeff Capel. Like he had a 3-15 ACC. He has 3 sub 100 KenPom seasons and a 4th at 97. Like there is no floor on a Jeff Capel Pitt team in the ACC, and I think there's a real chance that they are near as bad as it's been there, with just how little talent is on this roster, especially if Deshaun Jackson doesn't play this year. That means you're playing a lot of Cam Corrin, and Cam Corrin is not good.
We know what Cam Corrin is, and we don't really like it.
No, we do not.
Jonathan?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm not picking. I'm not taking Doug Gottlieb to win it Allen Fieldhouse tomorrow.
Oh, you're not in on the Ramel Bethia 29-year-old Shahada?
He's been really bad, by the way, in exhibition play.
I love that I can just name any player and you have like an insult about them.
no, but he has. Like I was like waiting to see like what he would look like, because he's obviously it's one of the most interesting players in the country. I'm going to tell you right now, just before we continue to move on, like because I just pulled it up right now. In their non-D1 game, Ramel Bethia played 18 minutes. He had 2 points. He had 2 points on one shot. That's
not good when
cardio.
Like the unction didn't last very long.
No.
Jonathan, go.
I was between a couple, but I'll take Marist to beat Xavier. I've been talking a lot of bad things about Xavier this offseason. I don't think it's a good roster. I don't think they're super talented. I don't love that like two of their big transfer additions were like the best guys on some of the worst Missouri Valley teams. And Anthony Robinson could be a breakout for them, but Marist was a solid MAC team last year. We got Richard Pitino helping Rick with iPad stuff, and so maybe his attention's elsewhere.
Can I say I also think there's a chance. There's a chance. I don't want to like praise.
Are you going to say LIU Notre Dame?
I don't want to praise Rod Strickland twice in one day.
that was the other one I was thinking of.
It is entirely possible that LIU like just has more talent than we think they do.
No. I think that LIU is getting enough attention. I don't think that it's not like, oh, we're not sleeping on LIU. And then I got a quick Marist stat for you, which is making me a little bit concerned.
Is it the Jackson Price stat?
No, it is not. What it is, I'm curious to hear that one after mine. Assuming Xavier finishes where they're currently projected on KenPom, which is 62nd, whether that happens or not, I don't know. Mm-hmm. It'll be the first team that finishes in the top 75 in KenPom that Marist plays since Buffalo in 2018. And if you want to go back to if Xavier finishes in the top 75 again this year, it will be the first power conference team that Marist has played in the top 75 since Nebraska in 2017. So they have been 8 years since they played a top 75 team.
They played one power conference team in John Dunn's tenure so far.
Yeah. None of those two the game that I was talking about, the top 75 Buffalo team was his first year. So they have not played a single power conference team ranked higher than 79th in the John Dunn era. And that's not a short era.
One power conference team in the John Dunn era.
Which was?
Notre Dame.
And they lost?
60-56.
Okay. So the under.
It was a really good game. It was a really good game. I thought they were going to win it for a long time.
I have one more category for us to each pick something for. And that is everyone give me something realistic, but something realistic that would be hilarious if it happened tomorrow.
Ooh.
I'll start us off here. If St. John's is in like a 31-29 game with Quinnipiac at the half, like I'll go that.
Okay, can I also say that the biggest coaching mismatch, Jonathan, you know where I'm going with this, right?
Is it not Doug Gottlieb versus Bill Self?
Okay, the biggest coaching mismatch in the other direction of the mid-major has the better coach. Ben Howlett against Jake Diebler.
Ooh, yeah.
I was about to talk about that game.
It's not going to happen because IUND just isn't talented enough. Like Ohio State is like 100 times more talented.
Yeah, ready for my prediction? That actually is going to come from that game. Ohio State is going to score 120 points.
Yeah, I think
maybe. I don't know the last time a team has scored 120 points on opening night. That'd be a cool stat to just randomly pull out, and I don't know. But a lot of people
Jared Burton would have it because he invented research.
A lot of people by the way, not yet privy to West Liberty pace and their 81 possessions per game last year with Ben Howlett. They're gonna play an insane pace. And Ohio State is a top 10 offensive team in the country. And I just think that like 80 possessions and amazing offense equals like maybe IUND scores 100 and they don't get absolutely destroyed. That's possible. I would like to think that Ben Howlett is going to be a lot better against teams with similar talent levels versus getting destroyed by big, powerful, big conference teams. I just think Ohio State's going to score 120 points. And that would be pretty insane, especially considering KenPom has them projected for 92.
Can I also say that there's another like really funny possible outcome from tomorrow?
There's a lot of
and it's right here in Syracuse.
But yeah, go ahead.
And it's right here in Syracuse. Like this like Syracuse is in a dogfight with Pace. Like Pace might be better than Binghamton. I will say that. Like
no, Binghamton's fine. Binghamton's fine.
They're a mid-pack AE team.
Yeah. Sam, I need to come up with a pick in that game.
Yeah, the Fetterman picks are coming back.
We got to stay with that this year. Last year, I actually made some money early in the season when I was doing it because every time you would cover a Syracuse game, I would just take the spread of the other team.
Well, not the first game. Not the first game. You took Syracuse against Lemoyne and you lost.
Oh, that's right. And then we adjusted.
Yeah, if Syracuse can barely beat Lemoyne on the opener last year, then they could definitely lose to Binghamton because Binghamton's better than Lemoyne.
I will say this Syracuse team should be like six or at least 6 points, like a power rating better than they were last year.
Well, their big man isn't Eddie Lampkin, so that helps.
That's a plus. That's a massive plus. I'm glad that like we've as a society have like understood where I've been with Eddie Lampkin for the last year and have adjusted that to be the consensus take on Eddie Lampkin. So I'm glad.
I was early on the Eddie Lampkin is bad train too. I'm not sure if you were on there before me, but I would have been one of the first passengers alongside you.
Yeah, I just like I did not think he was very good at Colorado. I loved him at TCU.
Yeah, that he should have stayed there for a lot longer than he did.
That was a perfect cultural fit.
Yeah.
All right, Jonathan, let's go. One more thing. What was the last thing you wanted to talk about?
Oh, I said everyone pick something funny that could realistically happen tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
I just want to say before you do yours, Sam, that
I just said a couple.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true. See, the Seton Hall St. Peter's game tomorrow should have like a rated R next to it.
Okay.
What is the over under in that game, Matthew?
It's 129 points, which is pretty crazy. It should probably be less, but also it's the fewest by far.
Holy crap! Under. Oh my God.
Here's the stat for you. I'm gonna find the stat.
They might not get to 100.
Well, here's the thing. They did get to 129 last year. It was 70-59.
Okay, so here's a fun statistic for you. Seton Hall against teams ranked below 150th in KenPom offenses last year, right? I think we can all agree that under every single circumstance humanly possible, St. Peter's will have a sub 150 KenPom offense.
Yes.
Right.
I think under every circumstance possible, they will have a sub 250 KenPom offense.
So this is the score of Seton, the total between both teams in the 4 games Seton Hall played.
When you say 82, I'm going to freak out.
Only 4 games last year Seton Hall played against teams under 150 in KenPom offense. Obviously, St. Peter's will be one. Those 4-point totals, sorry, there were 5. Sorry, there were 6. I promise you there's no more. There were 6. 113 points, 114 points, 97 points, 110 points, 113 points, and 82 points collectively in those games.
We talked about that Wagner game like 7 times last year.
Yeah, it's bad. And like some of those offenses were bad, but like
Wagner was
Monmouth
so
last
bad.
year. But like Monmouth was like better than St. Peter's.
They killed him.
Yeah.
They won by like 15. They never trailed.
Yeah. So maybe the 129 is not actually low enough. Maybe.
Sam, give me the final score between Houston and Lehigh tomorrow.
Oh, man. I was really good at picking Houston scores last year. 74-41. You can really just pick something like that.
Hey, that would be a Lehigh cover.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the line? 37?
It's 34.
30.
Okay. I was pretty close to the line, just blindly.
80-38.
Okay. I'm in on that. I picked
Lehigh's on top in 40.
I picked 77-40 for the SIUE game last year. I texted.
Oh wow, that was pretty good.
I texted that to Jonathan right before the game, and I said, "We're gonna be here for 77-40." And it was 77-40 with 40 seconds left. And I texted Jonathan, and I'm like, I texted Jonathan like I could have been really rich.
Yeah, you almost could have been pretty rich. I mean, even though Houston's a little worse than last year, SIUE last year is way better than Lehigh is this year. So transitive property.
I do think Whitlock is an interesting guy for them.
I mean, he's probably an interesting guy in the Patriot. I don't know if he's an interesting guy against the Houston.
No, of course not. He's going to have a good year in the Patriot, though.
Okay.
Good to have Bube Moman back as well. They need him.
He's tall.
I think in the Patriot League, they need him as like another 4. It's tough to lose Whitney, Sidney, and Higgins. Like, they're not going to have as explosive of an offense. Mm-hmm. They're going to need Hank Alvey to take steps defensively, which
didn't happen last year.
Yeah, not a very good defender.
Hank Alvey, JoJo Tugler, opening night tip-off. That should be a battle down low that will be won by one of them.
Very resoundingly by one of them.
The level of athlete, big gap.
Jonathan, can you make your pick right now on the air?
Make my pick. For,
You're on the clock.
For our draft.
You are on the clock.
Yeah, let me give me talk for 1 minute and I'll have it.
One more. Okay, so I want to explain what we're doing here.
Yeah, do that. By the time you're done with the explanation.
Jonathan and me and 8 others are in this league that we came up with the other day. We each picked 12 teams. Maximum of 8 from high major leagues. Must take at least one team from the high mids, Mountain West, A10, WCC, AAC. One team from a true mid, at least, Missouri Valley, CUSA, Ivy, Big West, SoCon, CAA, Sunbelt, MAC. And at least one team from the rest of the leagues. Snake draft style, 10-team league. I had the 5th pick. Texas Tech, St. John's, NC State, South Florida, St. Thomas, Vanderbilt, Miami of Ohio, West Virginia, George Washington, Minnesota, Long Island, and Queens. Jonathan had the 2nd pick. Houston, Alabama, Illinois, Marquette, Loyola, Wilmington, Northern Iowa, Siena, Georgetown, Hawaii, Eastern Kentucky, and is now on the clock for his last pick. Matthew, who has the better team?
If you didn't pick St. John's, definitely you, Sam. But because you did, it's going to be a lot closer than – like, I really liked everything you said except for when you said St. John's.
I just thought that, like, based on the way that we score this and, like, conference wins mean a lot, and I know St. John's is going to win a lot of conference games.
I guess that's true. That's like, fair. I was just going off of not really knowing the rules.
It's not like a KenPom league. It's not.
It's just like I made up this like point system that will probably be adjusted next year because I literally decided to do this 5 days ago, and then we did the draft.
Well, someone told you to do it.
Yeah, my brother. So yeah, we literally just started this like on a whim, and it will probably need to be adjusted after this year.
No, that sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, look, both of you guys know what you're talking about, and there's a lot of good teams picked.
We should get you in this next year.
We will expand next year.
We got to get you in this next year.
I mean, it sounds like quite the time. Listen, I can be stretched so thin, but this doesn't seem like too much of a day-to-day commitment. No. So then I'm it.
It's best ball. You make a draft once and
I'm calculating. Me and our friend CJ are calculating all.
Yeah, we gotta get CJ to make the draft. What literally, was the graphic we needed him to make? Oh, the BYU winning the national championship in our comment section.
Yeah, I'll get him to do that after. But no, like the deal with this league is like after we're done with the draft, like you don't have to do anything except for cheer for your teams.
I am already dreading changing my college basketball fantasy team lineup every single day. I don't want to do it. I want to win, but I don't want to do it.
This is why I don't.
Sam, has Radford been taken?
What did you say?
Radford hasn't been taken, right?
No, they haven't.
I'm taking them.
Okay. You're gonna go choo choo choo?
Yeah.
Like a train. The choo train. Choo choo train. Can we officially never say that again about Radford? That was a really bad joke.
Yeah, I think that should be retired on the spot.
All right, Jonathan, you want to take us home?
Yeah, if you came to hear about Tyler's health and where he's working, you came to the right place. If you came to hear about Zach Chu at Radford, you came to the right place. And if you came to hear about the latest happenings with Caleb Grill, you came to the right place. This has been Season 6, Episode 47 of Brackets, Bubbles, and Bid Stealers, the Christmas Eve special. Tomorrow, we have real college basketball games that count. Enjoy, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Matthew Winnick. Thank you, Jack Church.